put it all together. Some rosin. Got extra percussion across the valley there.
Whoever's making that percussion does not have good rhythm.
No, it's not bad.
Well, I guess so.
Kind of loud, isn't it? It's good. It's a good thing it's not next door. Okay, how are we doing for? Let's start with A. In the beginning, there was A. Can you come up just a tiny bit? Please. Too much. Down a bit. That sounds good, yep. And then E.
A bit up.
No. A little higher. And then the two together. Oh, okay, back to E. Okay, and then E together. E. It's too high, that's what it is. Well, so am I. Yeah, okay. Yep. And down to D, please. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Okay, and G. Right on. Okay, so then play your A again, please. A. And the D. Okay, that's great. The thing about strings.
Why you have to tune them that way?
Because it's not not holding. So make it a little tighter here.
Okay. See, it's got little screws on the ends there, and that's what makes the inside this metal piece.
I'm black.
Makes it tight. You want to be black? You could be white.
But I'm black.
Okay.
So that means white goes first.
Okay, we can do it that way. So, we got our violins in tune. All set to go there. And remember that we did the do, re, mi? So, remember do, re, mi. Dulcimer doesn't have that. It goes do, re, mi, fa, sol, do, re. And see how there's the metal, there's no metal fret like a guitar. So it's limited. If we wanted to play the do, re, mi, we have to start in a different place. Nope, we can't start there. Nope, we have to actually change the whole tuning of it, which we're not going to do today. So this means that you can play these strings are just drones, which means they go all by themselves.
Yeah, I know.
And then this note here is the same as this one. So here's where do starts on this one. And there's a blue note there. See? So start here and go this way. Do, this is do, re, next door to it. Yeah, you just use one finger if you want. And then it's already good, yep. To so is held to the dots are, yeah. So, right. Oh, yep, and then yeah. So we have a scale. Cool, eh? So what's interesting is that while you're playing that, I can play the other side. See something else? Keep going. Yeah? Yeah? And then you can go down and keep going from there to do, and then keep going. And we're down. Now look what happens here. You can also finger that string. Cool, huh? If you want, you can use the pick.
Ouch, my finger's burning.
You get the idea. Plays itself. Okay?
Oh, it doesn't.
Almost. Okay, here we go. Once upon a time, in a land far away, but not nearly quite so far as you might think, there was a young prince and a really old wizard. the two of them started off on an adventure together. We must cross over this mountain, but clearly it's so slippery, our shoes will never grip on it. How are we going to get up the glass mountain? And the prince said, what did the prince say?
He said, oh, maybe we might be able to make a pair of wings.
Ah, wings, said the wizard. Now you're thinking like a wizard. And what would he make the wings out of?
Wood, wax, and feathers.
Wood, wax, and feathers. Okay, that's our first task. Is as we're in the forest, it's not so hard to find some wood. This tree here should work very well. But first we better ask the tree whether it wants to be part of our wing. How do you ask a tree whether it wants to be part of a wing? Well, said the old wizard, I think the best thing is the direct approach. The wizard asked the tree, would it help him get up the mountain? And the tree said, sure. I've got some extra branches that you can use. So the wizard and the prince cut off the extra branches. And then the prince said,
Well, now how do we make wings?
aha, well, said the wizard, we need some wax and some feathers. So the queen bee went into the hive and got some wax, gave it to the wizard and the prince.
There's not just wax in there. You need, I think there might be, but I don't know. There.
Where are we going to find the wax that the bee is going to give us?
In this hole. The baby came out of it already.
Okay. So now we have some branches, some wood, some wax.
Not some wax. We need much more wax than one hole worth of wax.
So we need more wax? That means we need another bee tree. So,
We need about 50 holes worth of wax.
50, you think?
Maybe.
Okay. So the wizard says, this might be some time. I think we're going to need some magic here. And being a wizard, he took the first bowl of wax. And he took out his magic wand. And he said, bowl of wax. Bowl of wax. Bowl of wax. Grow and grow and grow and grow. And before you know it, there was 50 bowls of wax right there in front of them with their branches and the 50 bowls of wax. they said to each other, where do you think we're going to find some feathers?
Oh, there might be a giant red bird.
Aha!
On the other side of the mountain, though.
Okay, on the other side of the
other
mountain.
side of the mountain, there's a giant red bird.
Well, we have a problem though, because we can't climb up the mountain to get to the red bird.
True.
We could go around the bottom of it, but it'd take us, several years.
Maybe we could use branches?
Well, we have branches and wax. We need some feathers.
No, we could use leaves.
Leaves, maybe, yes. Well, okay, let's go back to the forest trees.
The wizard was old though, so he said, well, I'm not going to climb up the tree and gather some leaves.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm 846 years old.
Right.
So you would have to do that for me.
Yes. So obviously, it's the prince that has to climb up the tree. So the prince starts at the bottom. He starts climbing the tree. Well, it wasn't very far up the tree when he encountered a squirrel and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" What did the prince say to the squirrel?
I thought the prince said, hey, what are you doing to the squirrel? The squirrel didn't answer him because squirrels don't usually speak English.
They don't, but in this case,
Was he magic prince who could talk to animals?
that's right. He's a magic prince for sure. No question about that.
The squirrel said, hello.
And the prince said, "Oh, I'm just going up the tree to gather some leaves so that we can make wings, so that we can fly over the glass mountain because we can't walk up." Oh, the squirrel thought that was pretty reasonable and said, "Okay, I was just asking." So the prince started climbing some more.
But the prince thought he could get some leaves from, but he needed to get the branches. And branches were rather thick, so he couldn't use this saw on his Swiss Army knife.
Yes.
So he needed something else. But there was a crocodile in the tree.
It happens. It happens all the time.
Knocked the branches off.
That's right.
It
The
wasn't
squirrel could have
wasn't-
told the prince about the crocodile, but he didn't.
It wasn't a crocodile, though. It was a giant lizard.
Aha. It just looked like a crocodile.
Sort of did. That's why the prince was rather terrified and fell out of the tree.
Splat. Okay.
The crocodile stood on a branch and it broke. And
Right.
it was a very leafy branch, so it fell down.
Yep. And
So it doesn't matter that he fell out of the tree. So,
does the prince have enough leaves yet?
yeah.
Okay, now we have leaves, wax, and branches to make wings. So it's a matter of putting the branches out, like the bones in the wing, putting the wax on, and then attaching the leaves. The only thing about the wax is you have to melt it. So they had to build a small fire.
They did that with one of the branches which they didn't use.
Right. We have an extra branch. We'll chop it up with our Swiss Army knife, and we'll make a small fire, melt the wax, and pretty soon they had 2 sets of wings. One for the young prince, which were a little smaller because he wasn't quite so heavy, and one for the really, really, really old wizard.
That wizard was as tall as the roof.
Yes, he needed 847 leaves because he was 847 years old, right?
Oh, actually, he wasn't exactly 847 years old. He was 847 and half half 1,000 days.
Half 1,000 days? So it required a lot of leaves
and
out
for-
of this.
And 8,000 seconds. And 47 million quarters of seconds. I mean,
Quite a bit.
secs.
It's quite a few times. So they had their wings ready, and the wizard and the young prince said, okay, here we go, up and over the glass mountain.
There was a giant red bird on the other side of the mountain.
Say it again.
There was a giant red bird on the other side of
So
the
they
mountain.
fly up over the top of the mountain, where it's really cold. But then they go down the other side and they say, ah, look, do I see a great red bird ahead? The great red bird. Hark. I hear the red bird knocking. So the old wizard and the prince flew down the other side of the
They
mountain.
were trying to break the mountain.
Yes.
Trying to break the
Well,
mountain.
it's glass, it's pretty hard. They were just checking it out. It still seems pretty hard, still feels like glass.
They slid down the top of the mountain.
They slid, they didn't have to fly.
Yeah.
Because it was so smooth, right? And so they slid all down the mountain.
Except there was a jump at the bottom of the mountain.
Whoa!
No, actually it was just another mountain. Except it worked as a jump.
So they went whoop up in the air again. Good thing they still had their wings on, so they didn't crash.
No, they took their wings off.
They did, okay. So they went
But-
sliding down the mountain.
The red bird caught them.
Aha, the red bird.
Actually, they didn't. They just landed on the red bird.
So they went sliding down the mountain. Which is a jump at the bottom, and they went whoop up in the air. They didn't have their wings on, but fortunately they came landing down and poof, right on the back of the big red bird, which was nice and soft, just like a great big bed.
But it still wasn't that good because a saber-toothed tiger jumped out of the tree and it was trying to hunt.
Well, yes, the saber-toothed tiger would love to eat the red bird for lunch, wouldn't it?
No, the saber-toothed tiger is about as big as the red bird's head.
Saber-toothed tiger is very small. However,
No,
it would
no,
love.
the red bird's gigantic.
I know the red bird's gigantic. The saber-toothed tiger is only as big as its head, but it would love to eat the young prince. Because I hear tell that young princes are especially delicious. Much more so than 847-year-old wizards.
Yeah, they're rather dry.
That's right. So the saber-toothed tiger said, "Whoa, boy, I'd like to eat that young prince."
If the prince could understand animals, the
He
prince
could.
got rather worried.
The prince, he could talk to the animals. So
But the saber-toothed tiger didn't say that in English. He said it the way that saber-toothed tigers says. And the prince said, "No way!" And the saber-toothed tiger was so afraid of him that he ran away. Because he was afraid of him because he could talk to animals.
So the wizard and the young prince on the back of the big red bird. Now that the saber-toothed tiger had ran away,
The prince called after the saber-toothed tiger and said, Wait, I'm going to ride you. I want to ride you. The saber-toothed tiger still was rather afraid of him. And the saber-toothed tiger let him ride him, intending to just rather eat him on the way. But the prince was smarter than the saber-toothed tiger thought he was. And he was planning to jump off when he wanted to.
Wait a minute, said the saber-toothed tiger. Just a cotton-picking minute here. I was hoping to have the prince for breakfast. The old wizard said, well, I don't think so.
But then he came up with his plan.
And the plan was?
To eat him on the way.
Aha.
No, actually just to kill him on the way.
Aha, and eat him later. Maybe for dinner, not for breakfast.
So, he just feed him to the dragon who his master.
That's right. See, the red bird knew all along that the saber-toothed tiger was actually working for the dragon. Now, the dragon has a whole other story, but here the dragon comes into this story, and he sounds like this. And this is only when he's sleeping.
Actually, the saber-toothed tiger wasn't going to eat him at all.
Right. He's just going to
He
take
was
him
going to give him to the dragon.
to the dragon, yes. Now, the red bird, giant red bird, whose name was...
He didn't have a name.
He didn't have a name. Giant red bird without a name. The wizard said, you know where the dragon lives, and you know that the saber-toothed tiger simply wants to take the prince and either kill the prince or take the prince right to the dragon alive. So we need to know there's two roads